What is up, team? Welcome to the RNG Rise and Grind Crew team call every Friday night. It is Wednesday night. It's not Friday. I have a newborn. I'm still exhausted. I don't think that ever really goes away. Our team call, we haven't locked down a specific day yet. I'm still balancing between if I'm going to host two 15 or 20-minute power calls per week, or if I'm just going to keep it as one big call per week, and whoever can watch the recording, awesome. I love when I'm interacting with people. I'm definitely an outgoing personality type in the sense that I like to be surrounded by people. That's why I like to see faces on these live calls. That's why I want to adjust the team call time to whatever time that we can have the most amount of people on here. I think community is such a big aspect, especially in our industry. So that's why I want to get as many people on our team on these calls. Because it's, very rarely do I ever post a recording and somebody actually watches the whole thing all the way through. But if you're on the live call, I can see you guys right here on the live call. And so I can see that you are actually engaged, as opposed to somebody who may just be watching the recording and they're Facebooking on the side. They're not really paying attention. Next thing you know, the call is over. They took nothing out of it. So I appreciate you for those of you that are on the live call. We're going to jump straight into today's topic, which is an extremely, extremely important one. It's not one I've really talked much about before. I think as a massage therapist, some of the stuff comes naturally because I've interacted with clients in the one-on-one aspect for 7 years. So a lot of this stuff kind of comes naturally to me now, and I've correlated some of the stuff I do massage-wise, which sounds weird, into what I do with interacting with my Beachbody customers. So today's topic is how to become a Rockstar coach. I'm not talking about how to recruit, how to build the business. I'm not talking about any of that stuff because, like I said, one of the main things that is kind of overlooked in our industry is a lot of the time we can get so caught up in recruit, build your team, build your clients, build your challenge groups. But one thing that is disconnected is, what do you do after that person comes to you and says, okay, let's do this? There's the other half, and that is creating a team culture, creating something that they want to be involved with, and being that coach that they need and they deserve. So I wanted to, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. I'm going to create separate training videos specifically for the leaders group that we're getting ready to launch. April 6th is going to be, I'm thinking that's going to be our kind of like our big kickoff. That's our start date. And pretty much all you guys on the call right now are part of that leaders group. So first of all, recognition is going out to Elise, who is at Success Club 10. And then we have myself right behind there at Success Club 6, Kaylee at Success Club 4, and then new coaches. I brought on Mr. Daniel O'Connell yesterday. So congratulations, Daniel. You and I have talked on and off for a while now, and I'm super excited that you took the leap of faith. You made the investment in yourself, and most of all, the investment in your future, because the work you put in now is ultimately going to benefit you down the road. And of course, we have our one-on-one call set up, so we'll be talking soon. So aside from that, we're going to jump straight into this thing. So basically, when it comes to actually coaching your people, because one of the hardest things to do, guys, is you get somebody that is either a free customer, so they haven't bought anything necessarily from you, but they still want to work with you. They need help, right? That's what we're here as coaches, is we're here to help people. So whether it be a free customer or somebody that invested in a challenge pack, that's your person. That is your person to help. And one thing that I'm getting, we're all going to learn about this kind of stuff in the 90-day game plan I'm putting together. I want us all to focus on actually creating a foundation of clients. That means you have 10 to 20 people you are actively working with, because when they see success in their physical and mental transformations, that is ultimately going to be your flyer. That's your marketing. That's your billboard walking around. So when somebody asks them, oh my gosh, what have you been doing? You look incredible. They can say, you know what? I've been doing 21-day fix, and you have to get plugged in with one of my coaches challenge groups because they've been rocking it. That's been a great support for me. These are the kinds of things we need to be focusing on. So I broke it into two different categories. So number one is getting your customer started. And number two is keeping that customer, keeping them engaged. It's like anything. Anytime you've started something new, it's always fresh and exciting. But eventually down the road, when the real work begins, that's when we tend to, pull back. Our motivation drops. So the first thing to think about is when you have that first interaction with your client or your customer, you have to think about the impression you're giving off. So I know for myself, I put on, especially after watching a bunch of Eric Worre trainings, I'm definitely getting more of the mindset of I'm a professional. So when I talk to my people for the first time, somebody I just met, I give them that impression that I am a professional in what I do. Because if you go in it, we've all done this, you're word vomiting, you're stuttering, you're kind of like, yeah, it's this cool little side thing. I can't really explain it all, but it's just really fun to do. Versus, you know what? I'm a fitness and lifestyle coach. I help change lives and I help people open up their eyes to their own opportunities. Which one are you going to go with? Right? The professional. So think about those first impressions is first and foremost. Typically after the first impression, you always want to use the FORM method, which is from Danny Johnson. Family, occupation, recreation, and message. Basically, you're finding out what drives them. What are they about? Find out about their family. If they're married, do they have kids? Find these common grounds, right? Find out if you're both into comics or video games, hiking, outdoors. You find these things that you have in common because that's naturally how friendships are built, right? We find people, it's like, oh my gosh, you love that too? I love that. We're besties now, right? So those are the things you're trying to find, and you can literally keep a list of all this stuff. So when you first start interacting with somebody, write their name down, and if you find any common grounds, write that down too. This person loves to hike. This person loves this TV show. You find those common grounds, so it's not so awkward when you're trying to talk to them. And in those cases, typically, if you don't have anything in common, the main thing that's in the back of your head is, how am I going to talk to this person about Beachbody? And that comes out as an awkward conversation. And I'm going to tell you right up front, like all this stuff I'm going to talk about, guys, is all stuff that I have personally done and been through. The awkward situations and the Rockstar situations. Like I never talk about anything I haven't been through myself. Like I'm not going to sit up here and tell you guys how to cook a 5-star class meal when I would just say, hey, Paul, you can talk about that. I always talk about stuff I've been through. So those first interactions are extremely important. Always finding those common grounds first, because that's going to build that instant connection. Along with that, once you start interacting with your people, one thing I like to do is not necessarily on a daily basis, but at least 3 to 4 times a week. And you can literally make a list, a checklist of these things. So you can say on this checklist, client profile. And what that means is, and you can do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever works best for you. But let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you look at your list and it says client profile. What you do is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you go to your client or your customer, whoever you're talking to, you go to their profile, scroll through their page, and you start interacting. You start liking and commenting on their stuff. Because number one, it's not Beachbody related. And we all know that we need to be more than just Beachbody, because Beachbody does not run our entire lives. So when you're interacting with your people on their post, maybe they're talking about music or fashion or whatever they're into, or maybe they just had a bad day and they needed a vent. You can be that positive person that goes onto their profile and gives them a little bit of inspiration, or you can connect with them on the same thing. So that's one thing I like to do, is at least 3 days a week. I literally have a list of my clients. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So I keep a list of my clients, and 3 days a week I go through and I just go through their profile and I interact with them on some level. Next up is, once you start the conversation, and I've done I mean, you guys have all heard me talk about how the whole inviting process works. So once you get into the conversation of they want to lose weight and they're talking about joining your challenge group, and you go through that inviting process, it's really important to pair them with the right program. One mistake I've made in the past was I used to only promote whatever was on sale, and that was what I pushed on people. So if I had somebody that came to me and said, hey, I want to join your challenge group, I need to lose 20 pounds, here's my why, I'd say, okay, great, T25 is on sale this month, we're going to do that. Even though I personally haven't done T25 in a couple of years. My focus is more on P90X3, 21-day fix style. So it's not something I would push on that person if they don't need it. If it's somebody who only has a short amount of time and they want cardio conditioning, I would say, yeah, T25 is great. But if it's somebody who's like, you know what, I only have 4 weeks until this event and I really need to lose these 10 pounds. And if they're talking about a certain program, I'd say, you know, honestly, I would probably steer away from that. And I would go with something more like 21-day fix. It would honestly work best for you. And if you use that word honestly, that's showing a more real side of you rather than somebody who is just trying to sell a program. So I think that gives them an idea of, wow, maybe this Chaz guy actually wants to help me on the right program instead of just pushing on me whatever program he's trying to sell. So I think that's a really big one. Like I had a guy who you'll be seeing him come onto the team pretty soon, and he wanted P90X3, and he also wanted to get on Shakeology. And so he was looking through the challenge packs on his own. He said, hey, I want to get that challenge pack, the P90X3 one. And I said, honestly, you know what? That's $205. You might as well just go with the $140 package, which includes Beachbody On Demand, and P90X3 is a part of that. That's going to save you a lot of cash. And that's where he clicked. He's like, you know what? I looked at that program, but I didn't understand the Beachbody On Demand part. So I explained it to him. I showed him the video. That's where he had the aha. He's like, oh, okay. Hey, thanks for pointing that out. Am I going to make a smaller commission? Yes. But you know what? I paired him with what fits best for him. That's a big part of what we do as coaches is we always need to be personalizing as much as we can to each person, because if we can show them we actually care, that's where they're actually going to look at you and say, you know what, I like this person. I like what they do as a coach. I'm going to stick with them. I've had several people, a couple of recent coaches, actually, one of them in particular, she joined the team and she is friends with several other coaches. And she even told me, you know what, I signed up with you because you were there for me. And did I write that down? Yes, somewhere down here I'll talk about it. But that's a big part of it is just that phrase, you were there for me. And that's one thing we need to always think about is not just coaches, but, when we sign up with this coach deal, it's so easy to think about the word coach as this intense, Sean T style boot camp drill sergeant. And, that's some people that works great. Not for myself. I definitely like to get on an emotional level and connect with people and help them the best that I can based on their situation. So once you figure out which program is best for them, they decide to get on it or not. Like I said, I'm definitely not a fan of which, unfortunately I've had several times where I do this. If somebody can't afford a program, and they say, sorry, cash is really tight, I can't afford it. And I'd say, okay, come back to me when you can. That's the worst thing you can do. And I can tell you that from experience because it pushes that person away. It shows them that you only care about the sale. And when they actually have the money, they're probably not going to come back to you because you pushed them off just because they couldn't afford it. If they can't afford a program, you find a way to work with them anyways. For myself, I keep an open general accountability group. It's called the RNG, kind of our team slogan, the RNG VIP Club. So that's free for any of my customers. Doesn't matter if they've ever bought a program or not, but anyone who wants some type of accountability, they get plugged in there. I'm working with them. I'm still talking to them. I'm texting them, getting them on Facebook. I'm going through that profile check and I'm going through and engaging with them. I'm still treating them as a customer because that's what we're here for as coaches, because, some of the people who can't afford it, it doesn't mean that they don't want it. Some people legitimately are financially strapped in whatever their situation is. But when they are ready, because you were there for them, you will be the one they come to. And that can be your next coach sign up that turns into a 5-star diamond. You never know where that's going to go. So next up is once you get them plugged in, whether it be a free customer or somebody who bought something, one thing I've played around with before, and it really does help you get to know them better, is to come up with some type of application or intake form. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I took kind of that from a massage aspect, because when I have a new massage client, I always have them fill out an intake form. It gives me their medical history, what their struggles are, what they're looking to get out of this. And you can use that same theory for this whole Beachbody thing, right? Because we're working with pretty deep stuff. We're working with emotional issues. Maybe they have depression going on. We're here as that inspiration to help them out. So one great tool to use for that is woofoo.com. It's WUFOO.com. So under this recording, I'm going to comment with that link. And with that, I'm going to give you the link that is my application. And you can feel free to literally copy that word for word and make your own. It's a completely free tool, but it's just an easy way that you can send it to them and say, okay, great. I'm so pumped up. You're ready to do this. First, I want to get to know more about you and your goals. So I'm going to send you this link. I want you just to fill out that form. And then once they submit it, it gets emailed to you. So you can go through and look at their, you can put anything you want. You can find out about their age, their goals, their history. I even have a check mark at the bottom that says, would you be interested in learning more about earning 25% commission, helping others, and getting a 25% discount on your own products. So you can know right off the bat if that's something they're interested in, but it gives you all the information up front. That way you're able to customize your coaching to them. So after you've kind of gone through that whole getting started process, one big thing is to find out up front about what they struggle with most. Because a lot of people, I've had people that will sign up and maybe I'm lazy or I forget, but I don't engage with them right away. Maybe they just start their program and then they hit this big wall. And then I start to dive into, well, what's going on? And they start to open up and say, well, I've actually been struggling with this for 10 years. Maybe I had an eating disorder, something going on. So right up front, you need to find out about what they struggle with most. And through that, you need to figure out, based on your own experience or your own research, whatever struggles they give you, whether it be time management or nutrition, or maybe their low back hurts when they squat. You need to know about this stuff. So do lots of research. That's what I've done over the years. That way you're able to give them suggestions and they'll try it out. And if it works, they can come back to you and say, wow, great. Thanks for the tip. Always be giving them tips based on what their situations are. And you guys can see this is a lot of customizing it for them because everybody is so different. You get 20 different clients on programs. You can put 20 different people on the exact same program on 21 Day Fix, for example. They're going to have 21 different struggles and 21 different personalities. And you kind of have to learn to work with what you work with best. You're not going to get along with everybody. Some people are going to leave. Some people are going to switch coaches. This is all stuff that happens. You just have to find that niche, that target market, that one person that you really can and want to help. So intake form, application, finding out about their struggles, give them suggestions. Once you kind of get over that and they start getting into their start date, so they're getting ready to start something. So Monday's coming up is their day one. You want to get their measurements and you want to get their photos, not necessarily to you, but you want to make sure they have them. That's a big thing. A lot of people have missed out on is they start a program and 60 days into it, they go, oh yeah, I never took my pictures, but I've lost 50 pounds. And I always just, why didn't you take the picture? And, be upfront with them. Tell them it's not going to be pretty. You are going to feel super uncomfortable, but do it anyways. Because when you lose those 50 pounds or 100 pounds, however much they have to lose, you're going to be pretty damn happy you took those pictures. So always make sure they have pictures and measurements before day one. And then One thing you can have them do too, I just thought of, I didn't write it down, but have them make some type of goal list. That can be inside of their intake form, or you can have it right on a whiteboard on their bathroom mirror. Some type of goal list or vision board for where they want to be in 90 days or however long the program is. So once you get all that set up, that's kind of like the prep work, right? That's getting them started, and then day one starts. Here is where the accountability comes in. I am a big fan of setting up a weekly one-on-one check-in. This is done via phone call or video call, not through text. This is the biggest disconnect that a lot of coaches have is, text and Facebook messaging is extremely efficient and quick and easy. But when it comes to you as a coach and you working with somebody that you're helping to improve their life, they need something more than just a text to look at. They need a voice. They need hope. You are that person. They need to see your they need to see your face. They need to hear your voice, see your personality. They need you. They don't need your thumbs doing the text thing or the typing. They need you as their coach. So get on the phone with them. Get over that fear. I had that fear for many years. And honestly, it wasn't until the last 6 months that I've truly gotten comfortable on the phone. And I prefer video because I can interact with people on a one-on-one basis even more. But get on the phone or video with your clients at least one time a week. Just a quick, I'm talking 10 or 15 minute check-in. Hey, what's going on? And, you'll make small talk in the beginning, which is perfectly normal. And then you can simply just go into, have a, let me see what I have on here. I keep a lot of notes on my notepad here. You can see this is our little team call layout. I'm a big fan of notes and layouts. So have a, I hate the word script, but have some type of script to follow. So you can have on there struggles, goals, commitments, and improvements. These are this is how you check in with somebody. And like I said, it takes 10 minutes. You hop on the phone, make small chit chat. How's everything going? How's your week been? Cool. Well, I want to get down to business. Honestly, how's your week been? What have you struggled with? That's where they start to open up that, I did fall off track on the weekend and I ate pizza and I drank too much beer. And then you say, okay, that's perfectly fine. It happens. But moving forward to this week, what are your goals? What are you going to improve on? And how can I better help you? That's as simple as it needs to be. I'm a big fan of simplifying because when you try to do too much all at once and your plate's only this big, you get overwhelmed. I mean, I'm the type that if I get so overwhelmed with all the stuff I have to do, I shut down from the world. I don't post on Facebook. I plop down on the couch and I shut myself off from the world. So the days that you see me, I like to post 5 to 7 times a day. If you see me post less than 2 times, I'm having a bad day. And a lot of people are like that too. I'm not the only one, especially because I came from an introvert past, and that's kind of a core part of me as an introvert. That's natural for us to pull back when we get so overwhelmed. So I'm a big fan of simplifying things. So when you're talking to your people, don't be sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I'm nervous, blah, blah, blah. That's a person's life. Look at it this way. You're in charge of helping change that person's life. If you don't do your job, how much are they actually going to change? You are that person. Think about somebody who inspired you. Maybe you have a coach that checks in with you. Maybe you have a coach that was there for you during the struggles, during the hard times. And because they were there for you, you gained a better respect for them down the road and you understood them better. It's the exact same. You're in that situation now. You are that leader. You are that person they're looking up to. So be there for them. That's what, I can sum up this entire call by, you want to be a good coach to your customers, be there for them every single day. So next up is, once you set up a weekly, and try to make it consistent too, the same day and time every week. So it doesn't turn into, you wait until that morning and you say, hey, what time do you have open today? oh, you know what? I just had this thing come up and I actually can't make it. Like, don't do any of that shit. Set a day and time every single week that you both are going to commit to. And you say, no matter what, we both show up for those 10 minutes. Right. So after you do that, don't wait. Here's the thing. Even though in their mind, they're thinking, oh, I check in with my coach one-on-one once per week. Mm-mm. You take it one step further. At least 3 days per week. It could be whatever days you want. They can be set days, or they can be days that you feel you need to. Send them a text. This is where text does come in handy, but for those one-on-one check-ins, get on the phone or get on video. But for the rest of the week, just wait every other day. Just send them a text and say, hey, what's up? How's everything going? And that's where you take the coach hat off, and you're just there as a friend. You can put your coach hat on that one time per week when you need to be on the phone with them, and you say, okay, you know what? I know you fell off track, but you wanted me to hold you accountable, right? So here I am. You need to get back on track. That's where you can be a coach during those check-ins. But during the week, when you're just shooting them a text, you're a friend. You're there to support them. So always come at it from that mindset, especially getting towards the weekends. Like Thursday, Fridays are really good because you can send them a text and say, hey, what's going on? You have any plans this weekend? And you can start connecting with those things. Maybe they're like, oh yeah, I'm actually going to go for a hike. And you say, cool, I love hiking. Where are you going? Maybe they're going to the coast. Maybe they're going to, a casino, like whatever. Just be there as a friend for them. So once you set that all up, so that's all getting started. That takes you from when you first interact with them all the way up until they get on a program or they decide to be a free customer, all the way up to, okay, here's your intake form, here's your application, whatever you want to do with it. Fill this out, send it to me so I can know more about yourself and your goals. And then you say, okay, we need to set up a weekly check-in. What day and time works best for you? Or you can say, here's what works for me. Does that work for you? And then last would be just you can set it in your schedule or make sure you really lock it in here tight, but send them a couple texts per week. Send them a text every day. If you guys connect on a great level as friends, go for it. There's no limit on this thing. I think the more supportive you are, I don't think anyone ever like switched coaches because you were too supportive. I mean, that's like, being a super, super nice guy and somebody's saying, oh, I hate that guy. He's too nice. Like, I don't think that happens too often. Be that coach. You can be as involved as you want to be. So next up is after, that's all step one. That's drawing that person in. That's the attracting phase, getting them locked into some type of program, whether it be if they can't afford a program, start them with, maybe some jogging or walking, send them some YouTube videos of just like quick little 5-minute circuits they can do. Send them something that gets them off their butt. Because that's what we're here for, right? We're professional, like get off your butt people. So once you draw them in, lock them into something, set up your check-in. Step 2 is on the other side. How do you keep them engaged? A lot of people out there, unfortunately in the Beachbody world, I see this happen way too much. You see people that hit Success Club 50 and beyond, which sounds like an outrageous number, but it happens. The sad part is, if you think about that, if that coach is really working one-on-one with each of their customers, do you really think that getting that many sales, they're actually working with each person? I mean, you're talking 25 people a month. That is really tough to do. I personally can handle like 5 to 10 new people per month to really work with them for 30 days, to get them up off their butt, to get them going on their own, to teach them to be more independent and self-motivated, and then check in once a week. So, too often we see these professional recruiters that they're really great at numbers, but they're not so great at maintaining. So here's what you do on the back half. Number 1 is, this is the most important one that I've talked about 1,000 times, and it's always, always, always 100% true. Lead by example. I mean, I've said this 1,000 times. The times that I fall off track and I skip my workouts and I'm eating junk food, those are the times that my customers are least involved. Especially if I'm trying to host a challenge group for 30 days, if I do great for the first week with my own stuff, because when you are doing your own workouts and your own nutrition, you are on top of it and you feel good, you have no problem taking the selfies and posting them on Facebook and saying, I did my workout. You have no problem doing any of that, right? But fast forward by a week when you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing anything today. I want to sit on my ass and eat donuts.
What?
The last thing you want to do is get on the phone with the client and say, oh, yeah, you need to, hold on, you take a bite.
Smell anything?
Yeah, I need to make sure that you're eating right. No, I'm not eating right now. It's okay. The last thing you want to do when you are off track is to help other people get on track. Kind of funny how it's all correlated, right? So for me, at least, I mean, maybe you're just awesome and you can coach people and be super involved if you're off track, but not for me. So the biggest thing, guys, is just lead by example. And just like I've talked about before, my favorite quote is, what you do speaks so loudly that I can't hear a word you say. I love that quote, and ever since I've read that, I've always tried my best to keep it in my head, especially on my lazy days, because there's at least one day per week I don't feel like doing shit. I don't feel like talking to anybody. I don't feel like doing my workout. I don't feel like being a health coach. There's at least one day per week I feel like being the 18-year-old fat video gamer that I was. At least one day per week I feel like that. But you know what? The days I give in to those temptations are the days I most regret. I go to bed just depressed. I go to bed and I feel like crap. And you know what? What bothers me most is I go to bed feeling guilty because how many of my current people or new people could I have helped if I actually was on my A game that day? What if in the morning when those feelings first came in where I just looked at my schedule and I'm like, oh, you know what? I have the day off. Maybe one of the in-laws is watching Thai for the day. I can literally just lay around all day and eat. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. You know what? I need a day off. I'm going to take a day off. If I give into that, I go to bed feeling so guilty because I'm thinking literally all day. I'm like, oh, what if I had a video camera on me while the stream was going directly to my team of coaches and my clients? What would they think? Right? So the biggest thing is when you feel those feelings kick in, especially on the days you don't feel like it, you need to instantly change that mindset. Instantly. There is no delay that can happen. So that's the power of leading by example. People will always follow what you do, never what you say. It's the same thing in the business too. Like if you want to take this on a business level, your coaches, when you start building your own team of coaches, you will learn this quick. Your coaches will never hit Success Club if you're just sitting here at Success Club 0 every month and you're going, where are you at with Success Club? How come you haven't sold any challenge packs this month? What's going on? If you have never hit Success Club, your coaches probably won't either. You need to set the bar, lead by example. It's going back to last week's team call where I talked about the pessimist, the realist, and then the visionary. If you are stuck in the pessimist or realist mindset, your goals are only ever going to be this big. You're going to take those tiny little baby steps. I did that for my first 4 years. My first 4 years of a coach, I was a realist. I never dropped to a pessimist level because I've always been pretty positive mindset in the last, 5-6 years ever since I started working out. So my mindset's always been good, but I was always a realist. I always set these tiny little achievable, smart goals. But all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? What if I had went for this? And that's when I saw the 2014 cruise pop up for the first time. And so January 2013 was my first big visionary moment where I said, you know what? I have no experience that gives me the right to say I'm going to achieve that cruise. Screw it. I'm going to do it anyways. I set the bar that high. And because I set it that high, even if I didn't achieve the exact goal, I still got pretty close. That's the difference between leading by example and just being a realist that kind of does it. Your coaches and especially your customers are always going to follow your example. So with your own health and fitness, if you're not doing your workouts, you're not eating right, you're not doing personal development, your customers that you bring in, they're going to look at what you're doing and they're going to say, well, why is that person telling me to follow the program if they're not? And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? The bar's not being set that high. I don't have this pressure on me, so I'm just going to back off and not do it either. And next thing you know, it's been a month and you start to realize that person hasn't done anything. So you check in with them and say, hey, how's it been going? They say, oh, really crappy. I've been struggling with this, this, and this. As opposed to if you led by example, you busted your ass 6 days a week in your workouts. You're posting those sweaty selfies. You're getting on the phone with your people. You're rocking it. You're posting your nutritional recipes. Your people, your customers are going to look up to you as inspiration and say, oh, man, I didn't feel like working out today, but you know what? My coach posted that sweaty selfie. Now I'm inspired. Shout out to Heather, who's one of our new gals. I had a meeting with her here at the house yesterday, and she was talking about, she posted her first sweaty selfie, and she didn't feel like doing it, but she said that the amount of feedback she got on that was insane. She had people that she hadn't talked to in a long time that were commenting and saying, wow, that's inspiring. She was so blown away by that. And I said, that's the power in leading by example. A simple photo when we are sweaty and disgusting and nobody should love us can inspire people. Isn't that crazy? Especially when you get to the point where you start bringing people in, you start getting paid to do this stuff. Like you get paid to post workout selfies and to just hang out with cool people. Like I'm getting paid right now to hang out with you cool people. That's nuts to me. But that's the power in leading by example. It's just show up and do it, become the best version of you that you can every single day and help others do the same thing. Just like that photo I posted inside the team group yesterday, where it said Beachbody, I forgot what I said. It was like Beachbody coach. And it says step 1, become the best version of you. Step 2, help somebody else do it. Step 3, repeat. That's it. It all starts with you. This whole being a good coach to other people, if you're only focusing on how can I focus on them, you're going to struggle a lot for a long time. If you focus on how can I best achieve my goals inside and out and then help people. Because if you focus on you and you share it publicly on social media, that's how you attract people to you. That's how you motivate your people, is you do it first. So next up is be a friend first and be a coach when needed. I kind of touched base on this already. Like I said, with those one-on-one check-ins, you can be a hard ass. You can say, I know you struggled. I go through the same things, but here's how I overcome it. And I really want you to achieve this. What are you going to do starting tomorrow that's going to be better than last week? You can be a hard ass. You can be the coach on the phone, right? That weekly check-in. But if you're sending a text to them, just be a friend. Because that's riding the balance between being a coach that's coaching somebody, being that mentor and that guide, versus building that connection, building that relationship. I know, a lot of you guys that I built relationships with, I built the best relationships when I'm not talking about Beachbody, when I'm not talking about coaching. It's the same thing especially with your customers, because these are typically people who have not had the mental switch that us coaches have. A lot of us coaches, we've had the mental switch where we see the world more clearly. We are positive in our mindset. We have energy. We're excited to wake up in the morning and do what we do. A lot of people have not achieved that. So you get to be that person that helps them do that. But that comes through being a friend, being more than just their Beachbody coach. That's a very vague umbrella term. You are there as their guide and their mentor and their friend. Become a part of their life. Their family should have heard your name if you're their coach, not just this secret little coach that's tucked away when they need you. If you are truly working on just getting to know them, Ask about their family, their pets, like their kids, all this kind of stuff. Get to know them on that personal level, and then trickle in those coaching tips when you can, when they need it. So again, be a friend first and be a coach when they need it. And sometimes you have to be upfront and brutal with people. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, the last 4 check-ins, you've told me the exact same story. What's going on? What needs to change? Unfortunately, I've had several customers and coaches that if I'm doing a weekly check-in and I hear the same story every single week and they're not taking my advice, they lost the privilege to that call. That's as simple as it works. You as a coach, you have to find that right balance between being the mentor that gives them the advice they need, not necessarily what they want to hear, but on the flip side, trying to maintain that personal relationship. And we always have to have that personalized touch to each person. Some people I have had sign up as a customer and they want me to like call them up and yell at them every day. Get your ass up, start doing your workout, like go Shanti on them. Other people, I have to be very delicate with, or I'll hurt their feelings. And that's perfectly fine because there's 1,000 different personality types out there. So you have to learn how to read people. Find out how you can become the coach for them. Because if you're a hard ass on somebody who is going to take it very personally, that's not going to last long. I've had that happen many times in the past. Did not last long. So you kind of have to like mold, not necessarily your personality, but just kind of your coaching style. Mold your coaching style to each person, get to know their personality type. So next up, a good tip for how to maintain all of this, especially it's pretty easy to do it up here when you are just getting your foundation started with your clients. Because if you only have 3 people that really want help, it's easy to wake up every day and think, oh, I need to text these 2 people and then I have my check-in on the phone with this person. That's pretty easy. But when you get down the road to a position, let's say a diamond coach, kind of where I'm at, and you're working with 15 or 20 people a month, I've had several times before I started doing this that I forgot to even like check in at all with somebody for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. The next thing you know, all of a sudden I see their name pop up on Facebook and I go, that person ordered a challenge pack 4 weeks ago and I haven't even talked to him yet. It's happened several times. So because of that reason, when you start building your list, I recommend if you have at least 2 people that you want to work with, that you're working with, make this list now. It's called the ACL, the Active Client List. I've done this 2 different ways. Number 1, this way actually helped me the most. And I didn't have enough whiteboard space to keep doing it, so now it's on my iPad. But number 1 is make this active list, this ACL, somewhere where you can see it. So for myself, you guys know this is my like 50,000 multi-purpose room. It's massage room. I've got nursery, office space right here, storage in the closet. Like this is our multi-purpose room. So when I first started doing this, I had my whiteboard up here and I had like 10 names on there. These were 10 people who I was coaching, 10 people who weren't just kind of doing a program every now and then. These were 10 people who actually wanted to do a transformation, day 1 to day 60 or 21 or whatever. So write their names down in a list. That's your ACL. That's your active clients list. And guess what? Every single day, just go down the list. So like I said earlier, you want to check in with them about 3 days a week, whether it be phone call for 1 day and text for 2 days or whatever. So what you do is you pick, let's say you have 10 people on that list. You're going to go through, let's say Monday, you're going to pick the first 2 names and you're going to check in with them. That's it. Don't overwhelm yourself with the rest of them unless they need your help and, it's something you can help out with, go for it. But if it's just, they're doing their program and they're rocking it, this is, Monday, numbers 1 and 2. Tuesdays, number 3 and 4. That's it. Wednesdays, number 5 and 6. Just go down the list 2 at a time. If you only have 5 people, do Monday through Friday, 1 person a day. And at the end of the week, you just checked in with all your people. You were there as their coach. So that's what I did to begin with until I got in the habit of doing it. And then I switched over to my iPad because the list got a little bit longer. So now I'm working with about 15 or 20. So I have that same list on my iPad. So every single day when I open up, I start my office hours. I open up, I check my Beachbody office, and then the first thing I do is I open up my client list and I go, okay, I haven't checked in with this person in about 3 days. I'm going to send them a text and see what's up. Or maybe I have on my schedule or my calendar, I have a phone call with this person. So I'm going to skip the text today, but I'm going to go to this next person and text them. So that's why I love the ACL, because it's an open list and you can always just look up there and see who you need to check in with. Last but not least, thank you guys for hanging in there so far, is aside from the like one-on-one coaching, and this is, like I said, everything I've talked about, this is all based on what I do. It seems to work fairly decently for me. So I keep doing it. Of course I change and adjust things as I need, but if you want to learn like technicalities and whatnot, just go onto Google or YouTube and type in, let's say tips for personal training, or how to be a better personal trainer. Because a personal trainer, and I've gotten certified as a trainer because I believe in the credentials of it, and plus you gain a knowledge about the human body and as far as exercise. So I'm a big fan of that. So personal trainers, they have to be very, very specific, especially for those who work in a gym. They have to be very specific and personalized for how they coach their clients. So if you really want to do some research on the technical stuff, go for it. But on the flip side of that, aside from you being a coach for that person one-on-one, when you get a customer that joins you in Beachbody, whether it be a free customer or a paid customer, you get somebody that says, yes, I want you as my coach, I want your help. They are joining your vision. They are joining your culture. It's the same thing with coaches. If I sign a coach up, I'm not bringing you onto this team just because I'm working with you one-on-one. I'm bringing you on this team because I want to say, hey, look at what we have here. Look at what we're doing as a team. Our vision is to help people open up their eyes to their own potential. Do you want to do that with us? You're joining that culture. You're joining that community. It's the same thing with your clients. That's why I like to have that open Facebook accountability group, open for anybody, free. That way they have something to join where they're like, oh my gosh, there's actually like people here that are doing the same thing I'm doing. This is a great community. I like this. I've had people that will do a few challenge groups. Maybe they get bored of it or for whatever reason. And then they say, I'm not going to do this next challenge. And they come back later down the road and say, I really miss those challenge groups. They actually helped me out because I was able to connect with the people in there and have that accountability. Can I join the next one? That's what you're doing as a coach. You're not just telling people how to work out and eat right. That's scraping the surface of what we do. You are your hope. You're the example of, hey, I was able to do this with my life because of Beachbody. Is that something you want to join us in? Because we have a community here. We have the team. Is that something you want to join? So that's why I'm so driven by the culture and building a community in that sense now. But aside from that, you guys have any questions? Talked your ears off for an hour. Anyways, I appreciate you guys that made the live call on this Wednesday night. And aside from that, I will see you all next week. One last thing, I'm heading to Dallas. Me and Jose,
Yes, sir.
we're going to Dallas this weekend. So we're going to be coming back with some motivation, inspiration, hopefully some new like little techniques that we can use and whatnot. And we've got a lot of stuff going on this team. The biggest thing right now is the Eric Worre training, the Insanity Boot Camp. I went through the full I did it for 7 days. I watched one video, which are about an hour and a half each. I watched one video per day for 7 days. I took a buttload of notes. I'm compiling those notes into a 90-day blitz. This is 90 days of focused intensity on your business to build the foundation to create your business. I mean, literally these 90 days of work can anywhere from how many challengers you get involved with, how many people you help, all the way to building an income. The work you put in these 90 days, if it's focused and intense, can honestly skyrocket your business. That simple. 90 days of focused work, not 90 days of maybe I'll show up one day a week and kind of watch some trainings, and maybe I'll talk to like one person a week. Maybe I'll just post one Craigslist ad per week. No, you're not going to make it. You're not right for the group. 90 days of focused intensity. The requirement is you must take the Insanity Bootcamp course so you fully understand how my mindset works with this, because my mindset was fine-tuned when I watched this thing. So with that, I'm also not – I haven't fully put together the plan yet because I'm waiting for this weekend event, which is a men's leadership event. We have over 400 of us registered in Dallas, Texas, and they have, I think it's 10 of the top producing male coaches in the business who are giving us all leadership guidance and tips and all that kind of stuff. So I want to take whatever we learn out of that, pair it with what I learned out of the Insanity Bootcamp, and create hopefully just one kick-ass ride for 90 days. It's going to be more work than you have ever put in your life. But if you do it, I kid you not, the results you will see out of it are going to be insane. Because it's kind of the same setup that I did January 1st, 2013. January through March was the time I put my foot down. I said, I'm going to make this business work. And guess what? I focused for 90 days. I did it longer than 90 days at the time, but I focused. And because of that work, it launched my business to where it's at now. I was able to fire my boss 6 months after doing that, and I'm able to do Beachbody full time now from home. I get to hang out with my family most of the time. It's awesome. So 90 days, focused intensity, 90-day blitz. If you are not inside the group and you want to take part of that, I want you to directly message me first so I can give you the link to go to watch this whole training series. Like I said, it's an 1.5-hour video. There's 7 of them. So you have to be willing to invest the time and energy to watch them, absorb the information, and get yourself mentally prepared, because we launched this thing on April 6th. I'm so excited, guys. I hope you are too. Peace out. This has been Coach Chaz. I'll see you later.
Later, man.